Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And tonight we are going to go ahead and do a little bit of TCG content. So I've had a few people ask me for some more TCG content on the channel. Haven't done one in a couple days, so here's something that has been kicking around in my head for a while now. My good friend, Mr. Sharp, the Hero Guru, has repeatedly said that he does not lose to Nibiru. He has stated this over and over again. I do not lose to Nibiru. What I lose to is Droll and Lockbird. Okay. This is not true. He has gotten felted by Nibiru many times, but I will take him at his word for it. So, his frustration comes from the fact that the new Masked Hero support does not allow him to play under Droll. Fair enough. So, here's my goal here. I have decided to try and create an elemental hero deck that will allow you to play the game under Droll and Lockbird. So let's take a look at what we got here. Start up. We got one copy of Neos, standard. This allows you to make your Neos elemental hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, which you then use to go into your elemental hero Shiny Neos Wingman with your favorite contact. And the way that you get Neos is with extra hero Infernal Devicer, all standard. Next up we have Droll and Lockbird itself. This is a level 1 wind spellcaster monster. If a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except during the draw phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. For the rest of the turn, the cards cannot be added from either player's main deck to the hand. One of the best ways to make sure that you don't get drolled is to droll your opponent. That way, if they called by it, they can't droll you in the next turn because, well, Called by the Grave stops the card for 2 turns. So cool. We just droll them. They called by it. Now we don't have to play under it. Solid plan. Ash Blossom Joyous Springs. This is not a format that has Max in it, but Ash Blossom is really good for dealing with Molcharmi Full Olives. So is Droll and Lockbird, by the way. So, necessary to have 3 copies of both. 1 copy of Destiny Hero Denier, which is... if this card is normal or special summon, you can take a Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard or your deck, or that is banished and placed on top of your deck. And if you have a Destiny Hero monster on your field or in your graveyard other than Denier, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only use this effect once per duel. Good effect. Good card. And you use this with Destiny Hero Malicious to make your Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix, unfortunately. Playing 2 copies of Stratos. Stratos is a fantastic card, but it is not the main starter for heroes. The main starter for heroes is a Hero Lives, which Stratos does need to be summoned off of. So you want to make sure that if you draw Stratos, you can still special summon the other Stratos from your deck, but you don't really need 3 copies of it. Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Stratos lets you draw a hero every time it's summoned, which misses timing, but it's not once per turn. Also, it can pop spells without targeting them. Okay. Shadow Mist, if this card is special summon, you can add a quick play spell card from your deck that has change in its name from your deck to your hand. And if this card is set to the graveyard, you can add a hero monster from your deck to your hand, except Shadow Mist. You can only use 1 effect per turn, only once that turn. This is the primary way that we search Mass Change to go into Masked Hero Dark Law, which is a floodgate. Vision Hero Vion, this is probably the most controversial part of the list. You definitely want this card at 3. But I don't really know what I'd cut for it. Maybe you just play 42 cards? I don't know. You could search the card with Stratos, so that's your normal summon if you search it off of Stratos with the Hero Lives. And then if you just open it, of course, it also works. So if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, which will be your either your Elemental Hero Shadow Mist if you bricked, or your Destiny Hero Malicious if you didn't brick. Once per turn, you can banish a hero monster from your graveyard to add a polymerization from your deck to your hand. That is a soft once per turn, which is another reason why you might want to play more than 1 copy of Vision Hero Vion, although we're not running any ways to special summon it. Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. When this card is normal summon, you can target a level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard and special summon it. If this card is used as fusion material for a hero monster and is sent to the graveyard or banished, you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. You can only use 1 hero Liquid Soldier effect per turn, only once that turn. Really, really good card. Drawing 2 and discarding 1 is just fantastic. Trade one of your hand traps that you don't need for more engine, or trade engine that you don't use for more hand traps. Either way. Destiny Hero Malicious. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon a Destiny Hero Malicious from your deck. not once per turn. So if you get one of these in the graveyard, you banish it, you special summon it, you banish it, you special summon it, and then you can potentially use Denier's effect to revive the one that's been banished on top of your deck, banish it, special summon it. So it's potentially 4 cards. Now, this is not as good as a typical Omni Hero deck because we're not playing Extra Hero Cross Crusader. But you could still, like, it's very easy to send this card from the deck, from your hand to the graveyard with the effect of King's Sarcophagus. So, you know, I feel like this card will still always get sent to the graveyard. It's just that we might not always get Denier as well. So it might just be 3 cards instead of 4 cards, which is not that big of a deal. Alright, next up we have Duamatef, Blessing of Horus. Level 8 water monster with 0 attack and 0 defense. If you control King's Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only special summon Duamatef once per turn this way. Gains 1200 attack and defense for each Horus monster you control. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your monster zone, except during the damage step, you can draw cards equal to the number of monsters with different names in your main monster zone. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, Duamatef is the first Horus monster. Horus is a fantastic engine. I'm going to discuss the Horus monsters as a package, so let me just go over all of them real quick. Happy, Guidance of Horus. This is a level 8 Wind Beast Warrior monster. If you control King's Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, while this card is in your monster zone, except during the damage step, you can target 2 cards that are banished or in the graveyards, either add both of them to the hand or shuffle them both into the deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. So it's either a return 2 cards from your graveyard to your hand, or it's a Madolche Teacher Glass Souffle, where you shuffle 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard back into the deck, which is a weird effect to copy, but fair enough. Madolche go off, I guess. Good card. Imseti, Glory of Horus. We are playing this one at 3. If you control King's Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only special summon Imseti, Glory of Horus once per turn this way. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including this card, to add 1 King's Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. Then you can draw 1 card. Fantastic. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, well, this card is in your monster zone, except during the damage step, you can send 1 card from the field to the graveyard. And then lastly, we have Kephesinef, Protection of Horus. Level 8 Earth Wing Beast monster, which should be illegal. I can't believe there are Earth Wing Beast monsters. You can only special summon Kephesinef, Protection of Horus once per turn this way. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's monster card effect while this card is in your monster zone, except during the damage step, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent's monsters cannot target Horus monsters for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target Horus monsters on the field with card effects. You can only use this effect once per turn. In addition to the Horus monsters, we are playing 3 copies of Walls of the Imperial Tomb. This is a field spell that says this card's name becomes King's Sarcophagus while it is on the field zone. During your main phase, you can add 1 Horus monster from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. And if you activate the effect of Horus the Black Flame Deity, you can draw 1 card. We're not playing Horus the Black Flame Deity in this deck. Then we're also playing King's Sarcophagus, which is a continuous spell card. Horus monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects that do not target them, which is useful since you could prevent Horus monsters from being targeted by card effects with Kephesinef. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, then send 1 Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can use this effect up to 4 times per turn. Once per turn at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send that monster to the graveyard, ignoring the damage calculation. Amazing card. Fantastic. It's searchable. So let's talk about the Horus package. So, you have 4 monsters, and you're playing 3 copies of Imseti, you're playing 3 copies of Walls, and you're playing 3 copies of King Sark. If you open either Imseti or King Sark, you are draw-proof. You can then you can use Imseti's effect, you can discard 2 cards, you add King Sark to your hand, then you draw 1 card. And that is part of the same effect, so your opponent can't draw you in the middle of it. They draw you afterwards. Now you can't draw any more cards. Okay, activate King Sark. Pitch 3 more cards from your hand. Send the other 3 Horus monsters from your deck to the graveyard. All of them revive themselves, and then you can exceed into 2 rank 8s. Boom. If you're going second, you get lethal with Dragalubalon. If you're going first, fine, you can make the zombie vampire and try and get some hero action going on by special summoning hero monster from a graveyard. You can potentially try and make your Photon Lord to get yourself a negate, or you could make Titanic Galaxy to get a spell negate. By the way, this is 4 summons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you use your 5th summon to make Photon Lord, you are also Nibiru proof, because Photon Lord negates monster effects. Okay. So that solves both of Sharp's problems at the same time. Now, it's important to note that if you have walls, walls can't attack. Unfortunately, walls does not solve the droll problem. If you activate walls' effect, you have to add a Horus monster from your deck to your hand, which will probably be your Imseti. And then once you've added Imseti to your hand, your opponent can then droll you. And if they droll you, then you cannot use Imseti, Glory of Horus' effects, even to discard itself and not search anything. Because you have to, if you can't draw the cards, then you can't use the effect that would cause you to draw the cards, even by paying the cost. So, that means that you will not have any Horus cards in your graveyard to begin with. Which is unfortunate, but, you know. We can't be perfect here. This is still a good way to try and avoid droll. We have 3 6 cards that let us avoid droll, and then we have 3 more cards that make the engine a little bit more consistent when we don't get drolled. In addition, we're also playing Call by the Grave and Crossout Designator with droll, which allows us to, that's 3, 6, 7, 8 cards that let us play under droll. I feel like that's pretty good. You have a pretty good chance of opening at least one of these cards in your opening hand when we're playing 40 cards, so let's keep going. Now that we've covered the Horus engine, Nibiru the Primal Being, during the main phase, if your opponent normal or special summon 5 or more monsters this turn, you contribute as many face-up monsters on the field as possible. If you do special summon this card from your hand, then you can special summon a Primal Being token to your opponent's field. That token's original attack becoming the original attack and defense of the attributed monster. You can only use this effect once per turn. Primarily, we're playing Nibiru the Primal Being so that we can Crossout Designator it. Polymerization, 2 copies of this so that we can always search it with Vion. This allows us to fusion summon it into basically anything that we want to, so we definitely need to run this card. Miracle Fusion, fusion summon an elemental hero monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials this time from your field or graveyard. We will typically, what we'll do is we will make Flamewing Man Infernal Rage, draw our favorite contact, use its effect to tribute itself to special summon elemental hero Sunrise. Sunrise then searches Miracle Fusion, then we activate Miracle Fusion to banish Flamewing Man Infernal Rage and Neos from graveyard so that we can special summon Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, and then Wake Up Your Elemental Hero destroys, or Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Sorcerer destroys Wake Up Your Elemental Hero and itself. It comes back, and then when Wake Up Your Elemental Hero is destroyed, it special summons a warrior from your deck, which will be Shadow Mist, so that you can draw Mass Change, and then you can make Darklaw. Sorry, if you've never played Hero, that's kind of hard to follow, but that is a very common Hero strategy, so I don't feel like I need to explain how to play Hero in a TCG list. I'm sorry. Alright. A hero lives, if you control no hero monsters, or if you control no monsters, pay half your life point, special summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck. This is not once per turn, which means that if you open 2 copies of it, you can play one, or if your opponent ashes it, you can just play the second one. You will go down to 2,000 life points, but your opponent's ash is basically worthless. It's fantastic. Fusion Destiny. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your X deck that lists a Destiny hero monster as material using monsters from your hand or deck as fusion material, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. Also, for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except dark hero monsters. You can only activate 1 Fusion Destiny per turn. Fusion Destiny is debatable about whether you want to play 1 copy of it or 3 copies of it or, you know, whatever. You could, I mean, again, like if you're a 45 card deck gamer, cool. You can play 3 copies of Fusion Destiny, 3 copies of Vion, and live that life. But I feel like it's not that necessary to have consistency in your tech cards. This card is really good specifically at making a board after you've already had your board broken or interrupted. But, you know, most of the time you're planning on that not happening, so it's a good card to just kind of have as an option, but not really one that I feel like you need to specify around or focus around. Mass Change, target 1 hero monster you control, send it to the graveyard. Also, after that, if it left the field, by this effect, special summon 1 mass hero from your X deck with the same attribute as the monster that was sent. So you trade your dark for a dark, make Darklaw. Favorite contact, special summon 1 fusion monster from your X deck that lists the hero monster as material by placing the materials on it on the bottom of the deck in order, and ignore its summoning conditions. If you placed elemental hero Neos, the special summon monster cannot be returned to the X deck for any reason. It's a really good card. Lets us special summon Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman during our opponent's turn, which destroys a bunch of cards. Alright. Extra deck. Darklaw. Any card sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead, which is hilarious. Once per turn, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, you can banish a random card from your opponent's hand. Crazy. Sunrise. Attributed, special summoned off of Flamewing Man Infernal Rage. Monsters you control gain 200 attack for each different attribute you control. If this card is special summon, draw Miracle Fusion. When an attack is declared and involving another hero monster you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. Flaming and Infernal Mage, fusion of 2 elemental hero monsters with different attributes. Must be fusion summon. If this card is special summon, you can add one card with favorite in its name from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can tribute this card that was fusion summoned using a normal monster as material. Special summon a level 7 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck or your extra deck that cannot be normal summoned or set, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use each effect once per turn. Perfect. Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, a level 6 or higher hero monster plus a Destiny Hero monster that is either going to be your Neos or your Malicious plus any Destiny Hero. Monsters your opponent control lose 200 attack points for each hero card in your graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. As a quick effect, you can destroy both one card you control and one card on the field. If this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can activate this effect. Special summon itself from your graveyard during the standby phase of the next turn. Great card, allows you to control the board. The attack floodgate is actually really good. Like, you'll have usually about 12 heroes in your graveyard during your opponent's turn, so minus 2400 attack is really good for you to your whole board. Shiny Neos Wingman, fusion of elemental hero Neos plus 1 Wingman fusion monster, must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes on the field without targeting. Gain 300 attack for each monster in your graveyard, cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack points. It's literally just elemental hero Flame Wingman with bonus stats, like Shining Flame Wingman, and then it also can't be destroyed by card effects, which is amazing. So, great card. Probably one of the better hero cards in the game. Wake up your elemental hero, must be fusion summoned. It's an elemental hero fusion monster plus 1 or more warrior monsters. If this fusion summon card is destroyed, special summon a warrior from your hand or deck. Great. IP Masquerena, 2 non-link monsters during your opponent's main phase. You can link summon this card into another link monster. A link monster that was used this card as material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Extra Hero Infernal Devicer, a link of 2 hero monsters. If this card is link summoned, you can reveal 1 hero fusion monster in your X deck. If you do, add up to 2 fusion materials listed on that card with different names from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except hero monsters. So this is the only card in the deck that hero locks us. So we don't really want to resolve this effect unless we have no Horus cards, which, to be fair, we're only playing 12 of them, so we might not open a Horus card. But if you have Horus cards, then you're not necessarily going to do the Infernal Rage play, in which case you'll probably just try and make, like, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer or set up Shiny Neos Wingman a different way. That sort of thing. You can make Infernal Rage without making without using Neos. And if you do, you can still search favorite contact, and then you just have to get Neos in your graveyard somehow, which would probably be with your Vision Hero Vial. Or Fusion Destiny. SP Little Knights requires 2 effect monsters. If this card is link summoned using a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster as material, you can target 1 card on the field or in either graveyard and banish it. Also, your monsters cannot attack directly this turn. When your opponent activates a card or effect as a quick effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including a monster you control, and banish both until the end phase. This is basically the same thing as Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, in that it removes 2 cards from the field. It's just that they come back during the end of the turn. SP Little Knight is the main target for IP Masquerena. You link IP Masquerena and another monster off. You get a free banish during your opponent's turn, along with another banish after that. It's really good interruption. And then we can also make Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, which requires 4 effect monsters and can use your opponent's monster as material. So IP Masquerena, 2 of your other monsters, 1 of your opponent's monsters, link them all together. 3,000 attack points. When it's link summoned, all of your opponent's monster effects are negated. And then it's unaffected by activated effects unless they target this card. And once per turn, if your opponent tries to revive a monster, you negate it. Great card. Okay, that is all of the other extra deck cards. Now let's talk about the Horus cards. So these are all rank 8 monsters. Number 97, Draglubion, requires 2 level 8s, 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. You can detach 1 material from this card, take 2 dragon number monsters with different names from your X deck or your graveyard, except number 97 Draglubion, special summon 1 of them, attach the other 2 as material. Also, for the rest of the turn, you can't special summon other monsters or declare an attack except with that special summon monster. So you would make you make Draglubion, and then if you're going second, you can special summon number 100 Numeron Dragon, and then you attach it with number 38 Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. And Numeron Dragon's effect says, once per turn you can detach 1 material from this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined ranks of all Xyz monsters currently on the field times 1,000 until the end of your opponent's turn. which would be 9,000, so that can give you 9,000 attack points. Then if you've already destroyed all your opponent's monsters, you can just attack directly for game. So that's pretty solid. If you have another rank 8, though, it becomes 17,000, which is much easier for you to kill with. And we summon 4 8s, so it's very easy for you to have another rank 8 at the same time. Speaking of rank 8s, number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. It requires 2 level 8 monsters. If this card has a photon card as material, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. When an opponent's monster activates its effect as a quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card and negate that monster's effect. Good card. 3,000 defense points. Solid. Number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Once per turn, when a spell card or effect is activated on the field, as a quick effect, you can negate that effect. If you do, attach that card to this card as a material. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can attach 1 material from this card, change the attack target to this card, perform damage calculation, and if a face-up exceeds monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you target 1 face-up exceeds monster you control. It gains attack equal to one of those destroyed monster's original attack points. This is not new. This is typical Horus stuff. These are just good, generic rank 8s that are solid when they're used together. A spell negate and a monster negate can be very difficult for your opponent to interrupt it, and these cards are basically a 2-card combo. You give up, you give up a couple cards from your hand. So you end up like, you trade Imseti, 1 card, and then you draw another card, and then you trade like 2 more cards from your hand. It depends on whether you open another Horus card. If you open Imseti and like another Horus card, then you discard those 2. Then you're only sending 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard with Kingstark. And that gives you all 4 monsters, which gives you 2 negates, and then you can just start playing heroes after that. So it's not really all that difficult to make a board that feels like a powerful hero board while also avoiding Droll and Lockbird, and then potentially setting up some additional interruption while you also put out Dark Law and maybe DPE and Favorite Contact. The last monster is the Zombie Vampire. This requires 2 or more level 8s. If you use a monster with a level that is owned by your opponent for the exceed summon of the card, it's treated as level 8s. Neither player can target this card with card effects. With the effects of special summon monsters except those special summoned from the graveyard, you can detach 1 material from this card. Each player sends the top 4 cards of their deck to the graveyard. Then if any monsters were sent to the graveyard by this effect, you can special summon one of those monsters to your field. So this lets you steal one of your opponent's monsters. It could let you also special summon a monster from your graveyard. If you hit... you could hit some crazy cards here. You could hit Shadow Mist and then draw your Mass Change and then go into Dark Law. You could hit Vion and mill your Shadow Mist so that you could draw your Stratos and start your hero turn. You could potentially hit Denier and revive your Malicious. You got a lot of different options, especially if Malicious is already like you would. So when you discard Malicious for Horus and you're planning on going into the Zombie Vampire, you will use Malicious's effect and banish itself to special summon a Malicious before you exceed summon your Horus engine. Okay. All right. Great. So that is the deck and the strategy. It does kind of suffer from a little bit of inconsistency because we're not playing Vision Hero Ferris, which means that we can't as easily search Polymerization, which means that some of our fusion plays might not be all that possible. Which is another reason why you probably want to play 3 copies of Vion. So the list itself could use some tweaking, but the theory is there. The idea is there. I do think that a dedicated hero player could take this idea and make a functional deck that does not worry about Droll and Lockbird. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the TCG. My name is Sarafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.